Welcome back to Modalities Movement Therapy. In this short video, we're going to look at the ease of getting up and down off the floor. So we're going to need a chair, and we're not going to sit in this chair, but we are going to use this just for support if it's necessary. It is so important to keep this mobility. You want to be able to get up and down off the floor if necessary. We want to take ourselves out of that sitting posture, and we want to be able to move up and down off the floor if that movement is necessary, which it will be. You may have to get onto the floor to do something, in which case you want that ease of that movement, and you want to be able to do that without injuring yourself. So it's important to keep that range of movement. We're going to start in standing, and I want you to bring your feet side by side, and I want you to work on rotating, not rotating out, but just transferring your weight into the lateral part of your feet so you can engage these core muscles here. Feel how you lifting into the arches of the feet, you're activating those glutes, those core muscles, and lifting up and out of those hips. You want to be able to do that. So squeeze your glutes, pull up and lift up and out of those hips. Now we want to keep that position. You want to look ahead. So try not to look down. Posture is important because it's going to help you engage your glutes. From there, when we're rotating out, transferring the weight into the lateral part of the foot, so you are not in this knock-knee position. If you may have flat arches, you want to avoid that. You want to keep the alignment in the feet, the knees, and the hips. So you're going to squeeze and engage those glutes, and we're just going to hinge from the hips gently into that forward position. But we also want to get that movement up and down the spine. So let's come up to standing. Breathe yourself in that lifted position through the nose. As you exhale, tuck your chin and roll down through the spine. Hang out here. Now I want you to be aware of your breathing. Breathe through your nose as your lungs fill with breath, so they're going to push the diaphragm down. So you should feel some release into that lower back. As you exhale, the diaphragm will assist the breath from the lungs. Feel you getting a little bit lower into that stretch. Breathe in. Feel it into the lower back. The diaphragm pushes down into this area as you exhale. Work a little bit into that stretch. Getting deeper, feeling the stretch along the back line of the body. Now we're going to come down onto the hands and knees. Just get a little bit more movement into the spine. Breathing in and looking up. Exhaling and tucking. Breathing in and exhaling. Now let's drop onto our hip and then come around. If you are very stiff in this position, this might be your seated position on the mat. We're going to now rock onto the knees, bring the feet side by side, rock around onto the hands and knees. Now just looking up, getting that movement into the spine. Breathe in. On your exhalation, tuck the tailbone around the spine, uncurl, staying on the knees. Now we're going to balance on one knee. Any tension in the knee, you might want to just assist with your hand and bring your foot forward. If you need the use of the chair, use that chair. You want to transfer your weight into your front foot. If you can keep the foot flat like this and not curl the toes under, I want you to do that. Use the chair if you need to. Weight into the front foot and come up into a standing balance. Then you're going to step back. If you need to curl the toes under, do so. If you can, keep the weight into the front foot and bring the knee down, do that. And then you're going to balance on that knee. Use your hands if you need to. Otherwise, you're going to challenge your balance a bit by bringing that knee onto the mat. Then you're going to sit down onto your haunches and then come around into your seated position. So let's try that again. We'll use the other leg this time. So balance on the knee, use the hands if you need to. Bring that foot forward. Try not to curl the toes under. Use the chair if you need to. Transfer your weight into that front foot, and you squeezing and you lifting, balancing. So in this standing position, like we did when the feet were side by side, we want to squeeze and lift up and out of that hip. So we want to lift up and out of that hip. We want to really engage the muscles in the feet, of which there are many. You want to strengthen those muscles. You want to get as much movement into the feet as possible. So try and walk around barefoot as much as you can. Bring the feet side by side. And again, let's just hinge from the hips. Just loosen up. Use the chair if you want to. Bounce into that hinge movement. And roll down through the spine. That's on your exhalation. Hang out here and breathe in. And exhale. On your next inhalation, uncurl through the spine. And let's just repeat that. So balance on one foot. Transfer your weight into the lateral side of your foot to help stabilize and engage those glutes. And sit back into that kneeling position. Hands for assistance if necessary. Otherwise, you're going to balance on the knee. Sit back onto your haunches. You can rock around and come into the seated position. Otherwise, we're just going to change sides and step up. Curl the toes under if you need to. Use the chair if you need to. Otherwise, you're just pushing up onto that foot. Spread the toes out. Feel yourself challenging your balance. You can look down if you want to challenge it a little bit more, but see what's happening in that foot. Keep the weight on the ball of the foot and the heel, and release the foot. Shake everything out. And remember, movement is key. If you don't use it, you lose it.